I am exhausted. I don't think I've ever felt this tired in my life. And I've been through some things that would make you tired. Endless nights of fishing when the storm and the water's rough, and you spend hours and hours trying to get some fish, and you put up the nets at the end of the night and there's nothing in them. I've been exhausted before, but never like this. I'm tired. I'm tired physically, but I'm also exhausted emotionally. And mentally, my brain hurts. I'm just happy sitting here in darkness with the shadow of the light through the window. I don't want to be with people right now. I've almost had enough of people. I'm feeling exhausted. Sorry, I'm Peter. I'm Peter, the one whose reputation goes before me. The one who speaks and then works out whether what I'm saying is sensible or not. That's me. The one who's always been pushed to the front because I'm happy to speak. People have hid behind me all my life. But I suppose that's me. That's what I like being. I like being the one who gets the attention because I speak. But at the moment, I don't feel like speaking. This week has just left me drained. I sometimes think I wish I was just back with the boats and the fish and the weather. But that's just now. I'm drained. What a week. I suppose the emotion of this week has been the kind of emotion that I've had for the last 3 years. Times of being with Jesus whenever I've just watched the man and cannot believe what kind of a man he was. He always had a new way of looking at something. He had the courage to challenge people who the rest of us have always questioned, but he knew what to say and why to say it. And sometimes they liked it, sometimes they didn't. He was always on the side of the weak, the sick, the disabled, the ones who the rest of us have just ignored and pushed to the side. Jesus brought them right center into life. He certainly didn't always say things in a way that people liked. He certainly, there's a lot of people were his enemies, and haven't we seen them this last week? And I suppose all of the emotion of the ups and downs, the miracles, the stories, the teaching, the lessons that we've had the last 3 years, we've just lived through them all again this last week, and I am exhausted. You know, I remember how elated I felt whenever I said something to describe Jesus as the Son of the living God. And he said to me, "Blessed are you, Peter. Flesh and blood hasn't taught you that, but the Spirit of God." And then I said something else that I thought was just as good. And he actually said, "You're speaking the words of the devil. How could you be so right and so wrong?" But the worst, why I'm feeling the way I feel now, is because of what has happened over this last 24 hours. We left the meal and we went down, And Jesus said things that just didn't make any sense. He said that he must go and die. I couldn't get my head around it. And I said, Jesus, listen, you're not going to die. Whoever's going to try to kill you, I'll be there with you. I'll protect you. There's no way you're going to die. And then he said something to me that, again, I just thought was ridiculous. He said, listen, Peter, you know that before the cock crows tomorrow, you will have said 3 times that you don't even know me. I said, Jesus, come off it. How can I ever say that I don't know you? I've experienced all about you. I've been with you almost 24/7 these last 3 years. How can I say that I don't even know you? And he didn't say anything. But he said, come. So we all went with him. And one thing led to another. And Jesus was taken. And we wandered around this, well, I don't know what it was. Was it a party? Was it a celebration? It was hysteria. There were people who were really upset that they had come and taken Jesus. And there are other people that are having a party. There were people who were just caught up in the emotion. And then there are others that looked bewildered. I looked bewildered. And I walked past a group of people. And there's this woman. Oh, there's this woman who said to her friends, look, there's one of them. And I turned round and she's looking straight at me. And she said, there's one of them. He was with Jesus. And I really panicked. She was starting to walk towards me and the crowd were coming too. And I saw what they'd done to Jesus. And I said, I don't know the man. I don't know what you're talking about. And then I walked a little bit further. My heart was beating so fast. And there's someone else said, look, there's that man. I saw him with Jesus. And I said, don't be ridiculous. I don't even know the man. And then someone else said, listen to him. He's from Galilee. Listen to his accent. He was with that man, Jesus. And I said for the 3rd time, I don't know who you're talking about. And the penny had just dropped. That 3 times before sunrise, I'd said that I didn't even know who Jesus was. I just stood frozen. I didn't know what to expect. I was starting to think I'd got away with it. And then I heard that old cock crowing. My heart sank. And I turned around to try to find where Jesus was. And my eyes caught him. And I looked straight at him and he was already looking at me. Before the cock crows, you will say 3 times that you don't even know me. Those eyes, they weren't eyes of anger. There wasn't a look of a told you so, Peter. There wasn't the kind of look that was disappointed. But the eyes, I always felt that Jesus felt sorry for me. It was horrible. I just stared at him and he stared at me because I knew he was right. And I had disowned Jesus. He had given me everything, every purpose for living, made sense of life and death for me, revealed that at times I really understood who Jesus was, but at other times I acted as if I hadn't a clue. It was horrible. And all I could do was try to escape. I didn't want to be with anybody. And I went away and I cried. I really cried. What had I done? I felt useless. I had no confidence. I didn't know what to do. And that's the way I felt. Jesus died. That number 3. Let me jump forward a wee bit. And Jesus, we're told, had vanished from the grave. And, well, all my mates, the disciples and others, we were down the beach and we're having a bit of a barbecue. Jesus came. And it was so exciting to see him. Amazing to see him. And yet at the same time, I felt embarrassed. I didn't do the usual rush forward, and I sat back a wee bit. And then there was a conversation where Jesus turned round to me and said, "Peter, do you love me?" And by then I got used to seeing him again, and there's a bit of the old me came back. I said, "Yeah, I love you." And as if he didn't hear me, because he turned around and he said, "Peter, do you love me?" I said, "Yeah, of course, I love you." And a third time he said, "Peter, do you love me?" And the penny dropped. And I said, "Yeah, Jesus, I love you." And that moment, I realized what he was doing. He was saying to me 3 times, "You said you didn't know me, but I've asked you 3 times, do you love me? And you have said you do." So Peter, whatever you're feeling about letting me down, I know you love me. I am so relieved. I could go on for hours. I suppose what I realize with Jesus is that he knows what we're like. He knows that we intend to be good, we intend to do all sorts of things, but in the end of the day, we're not as good as we think we are, or at least we're not as strong or consistent as we think we are. But it's as if he doesn't condemn us for that. I thought I was finished with Jesus, that look in his eyes when I had denied him. But he looked at me, as I said, as if he felt sorry rather than annoyed. And he gave me the opportunity just to feel okay with him again. Yeah, it was embarrassing and awkward, but I got to say that I loved him. And maybe part 2 of my story, which I leave for another day, is that Jesus always gives us the opportunity to do good again, to be good, to be in relationship with Him, and to achieve things for Him that transforms the world. What a man. He loved, he taught, he died, he forgives, he restores. I knew that in my life, and I know that for everybody, He'll do the same. Jesus, what a Saviour.